Hey everyone, Rushlock here, and we're going to go over the State of the Union update from CCP regarding faction warfare updates and news that's been coming out recently. So, a lot of the beginning part of this is going to be a rehash and a repeat from FanFest. So, if you're already familiar with the FanFest announcements, you can skip a lot of this kind of stuff. But if you haven't seen it and you want to be refreshed on it, they have a link to that video here that we'll show you on YouTube. This is the FanFest presentation, and you can go over it at your own pace. It is a 1-hour video. Keep in mind on YouTube, you can always go playback speed 1.5, mess around with the settings to your own personal preference, kind of get caught up there. The first section here is about front lines. We know about this from FanFest. Nothing new there. We can skip over that part. Complex rework. So current complexes in faction warfare, as I understand them and have encountered them, they have a naming convention, and the naming convention is meant to denote the size of ships that can interact with that site. CCP has identified and recognized that it isn't the most intuitive system to do so, and so they're going to try and change the naming convention and add additional sites or types of sites that will spawn in the new faction warfare systems or hierarchy, tier system, however you want to describe it as. They use rank and size, kind of like the same way that the current way does it. NVY will stand for Navy, meaning you can use T1 and Navy ships. Advanced would mean T2 ships and below. So no T3s, I presume, is the only thing that would cut out of there. Pirate faction ships count as advanced as well. And the final notation will be the number. Their example here is a medium Navy 5. So the rewards scale up to 5 people. It does not limit the site to only being occupied by 5 people. It's just if you're min-maxing rewards, 5 is the number to keep in mind. So this will be what shows up in your overview or probe scanner. And this at a glance is supposed to give you the information that you need to know, all right, this is a medium site, so we can go cruisers and down. Navy ships, so Navy or T1s can enter, and the reward for this activity is capping out at 5 people for most efficiency. That's pretty much it for the naming convention change. Let's see, you can get a little more about loyalty point efficiency, things like that if you want to read over it. Supporting new gameplay, the advantage system. So this is a little bit more nuts and bolts, details how they want to design the new faction warfare system. They have a lot of words. They have this one chart here with a lot of words. It isn't very intuitive. It isn't very, it doesn't do much to clarify how it'll work. But the overall basic concept is do stuff. When you do stuff in a system that you're pushing for or have control of and trying to keep control of, you can see here where the attacker and defender have all these different nuances and activities that they can do to increase points or decrease points. And the differential between them, it's kind of like a momentum is kind of the word that I have in mind when describing or discussing this. It's trying to keep the side that is more active having the advantage of pushing objectives overall in their favor. But again, you can go over this in finer detail. This will be linked in the video down below, or in the video description down below. This last part here, narrative arcs and factional warfare. You're already beginning to see this new advantage system play out in the first narrative arc. We are not. This arc thing that they described at FanFest sounded great, or sounded interesting at the very least, and next to nothing has happened with it since FanFest. CCP will argue with this, saying, well, there's a lot of secrets in game that players just need to find. In my opinion, it's a terrible way of presenting content to a user base that is, even if we're going to be hyperbolistic with this, starved for content. You don't put anything out for several years and then drip feed it by, oh, well, we put it in the game, but you got to go out there and find it yourself, and good luck to you. That's not the way to do it. It's a terrible system. Nobody's happy with it. Well, I shouldn't say that's too encompassing. Most people that I've heard from are not happy about it. But it has potential. It has a way of being interesting, but for some reason they've gone out of their ways to make it as minimal impact as possible. So yeah, it's a huge reach. I don't know why they're saying it, but it's completely inaccurate. And then they put out this image. How this got past anybody for approval, I have no idea. It looks like they ripped off a StarCraft mobile game in development. Like, you've got this disgusting mobile game UI. You've got this hideous dated graphic. You've got somebody had like an in-office pool on what are the most disgusting fonts we can use to put something out and make it look like garbage, and then we'll ship it out there. We'll do with it. So, as to not end on a negative point, there is a nice piece here at the end to look forward to. When this announcement came out, the next day, which for my time at the time of recording was yesterday, they did a live stream on CCP, headed up by CCP Aurora. I believe CCP Psych was there as well. And we have the link that will be in the description down below the video. That link will take you here. You can watch the VOD. It's an hour and 18 minutes. Don't be intimidated. The first 10 minutes is just a countdown, so you can skip that part. You can see in the preview here when they start talking. However, the first half of the video, roughly the first half of the video, definitely the first third, is just them going over FanFest stuff again. But that's kind of to give everything else context, because keep in mind, not everyone consumes every piece of media that comes out, every tweet, every dev blog. Plenty of people haven't even seen the FanFest footage yet. So if you are completely in the dark, I would recommend going to the cogwheel here. You can again change the playback speed to your preference, and probably around 10th minute, start watching. If you want to jump straight to new information, somewhere about the 40% mark would probably be a good place to tune in. They'll have the new details. And for the sake of brevity for this video, and I don't want to make the video too long, I'm not going to go over them in detail, but they do have at least a handful of things that are new in concept that we haven't heard before that live stream there for that VOD. So definitely check those out. Again, all these links are going to be provided for you down below the video. I should have started the video with this as well, but also make sure to hit the subscribe button here on YouTube for all future news and updates for EVE Online. Until next time, goodbye forever.